You know, prior to the announcement of Doom the Dark Ages, I was convinced that Doom was going to take a break after Doom Eternal because, well, after the DLC. Because I was thinking, I mean, where do you go after the Doom Eternal DLC? I really thought the series was going to go on ice again for a while. And I made a video, I think, a couple years ago, or maybe last year, predicting that id would instead make a Quake reboot, which I think could still happen, but probably not by id, probably Machine Games. I thought that they would do like a Hexen or a Heretic reboot, which I would love to see. But then we got the announcement of Dark Ages, and I was like, okay, they seem committed to Doom. So I've been thinking recently after finishing Dark Ages, where do they go after this? Like, what does id and the Doom franchise, where do they go following the Dark Ages? And obviously the first thing is going to be DLC. I think it's all but confirmed that we have story DLC. I think two pieces of DLC are in development. I don't know if there's actual confirmation of that, but you can, if you bought the premium edition, you already have access to that, kind of like what they did with Eternal. So what I was thinking of, like, what is id gonna do next after the DLC is done? Where does Doom and where does id go as a studio? And it's gonna be Rage 3. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Rage 3 is never gonna happen because I think Rage 2 is, I think, a giant flop. And hey, I had fun with Rage 2, a little bit of it. I even had some fun with Rage 1, but let's be honest, Rage is kind of the redheaded stepchild of id's library. I used to say id never misses, but after Rage 1 and 2, that I would say those two and maybe Doom 3 was their few misses. Jokes aside, I think it sounds like Marty, not Marty Strad, Hugo Martin. He says that he would be okay with working on Doom for the rest of his career. So to me, it sounds like id is going to just be the Doom studio. I don't see them rebooting Quake. I think Machine Games is more likely to do that, considering they developed the expansions to Quake 1 and 2. And of course, do you remember the teaser they had for Quake 5? If any of you watched that the developer direct in January, was that this year? No. Was that, yeah, last January, January 2024? They teased Indiana Jones, and in that video there was, for some reason, there was a Quake 5 was written on the whiteboard. I go back and watch that video and scrub through and pause it on the whiteboard. You'll see Quake 5 written on it. Don't know why. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be announced at the showcase. I don't know. But I think id, for the time being, is that they've seen the writing on the wall. Quake does not. Quake is kind of a series with an identity crisis. Rage doesn't sell. Doom sells, even though Dark Ages seems to have sold less than previous games. I think id is just going to be the Doom studio. But the question is, where do you go chronologically after Eternal? Because I know that game. I mean, the game ends with you kill the Icon of Sin. King Novik has the narration. He says, "Yeah, your fight is eternal," basically hinting that this series is never going to end. His fight is never going to end. He's going to fight demons for eternity. We had the two DLCs, but obviously, and the second Ancient Gods Part 2 ended with you closing the portal, quote unquote, for good. So supposedly no demons will ever get through, but yeah, right. They say that every game. Didn't Doom 64 end with you killing the mother of all demons, and they promise, oh, you'll never see demons again. They're gone for good. And I think Doom 1 and 2 did the same thing. So this is a series that can never end. So where I think they'll go next, I think they're going to iterate on the dragon flying sections, and instead of a dragon this time, I think they're going to give Doom Guy a spaceship. It feels like the next evolution of what they're going to, like, I don't know if they're going to go full open world. I hope not. Similar to what I said in my last video, I don't think they should go fully open world. Same thing with Halo and Gears, where Halo going into open world was a big mistake. Gears dipping a toe in open world was also a mistake, and I think they're pulling back now with E-Day. And with Doom, their levels are pretty damn big in Dark Ages, and I don't think they should go any bigger. So what I think they're going to do next is, yeah, Earth had an invasion, and they've kind of already sort of remade Doom 1 and 2, because Eternal was, I mean, it wasn't a remake of Doom 2, but in spirit it kind of was, because it's Hell on Earth again, but like made in modern graphics, modern game technology. And so it's going to be all like new, it's treading new ground from here on out, because you kind of, Doom 3 kind of retold the story sort of Doom 1 and 2 a little bit, even though as far as we know it's not canon. Unless of course you buy into the multiverse theory, then everything can be canon. But I think for whatever the sequel to Eternal is, you know what I would love? I would love it. I would love them to do another Mother of All Demons enemy, because we've redone Spider Mastermind, we've redone Icon of Sin. Do Mother of Demons again, like from Doom 64. But I think what they're gonna do is, I know I like the dragon flying sequences in Dark Ages, but it's gonna be less replayable. I think same thing with the mech sections. But imagine, so cast your mind back to 2016. Did any of you play the campaign of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? I think it's an extremely underrated Call of Duty campaign. Like, it's one of the best ones. Like, no joke. And just separate the fact that it's Call of Duty for a moment. Just think of it as a space, like an FPS game set in space. It's fantastic. Like, all the dogfighting sections in space are really good. And I think if Doom rips that off, it could be really cool. So like, Doom Guy had a base in Doom Eternal. He had his like floating, whatever the hell it was called. It was like his Doom Fortress, I think it was what it was called. So instead of riding a dragon, imagine if the next game, and it's not just an Earth invasion. What if it's like huge scale, demons invade every planet of our solar system? That, well, ones that can, obviously not like Jupiter, which are, Jupiter's a gas planet, right? Obviously not the gas planets, but the ones they can step on. So Mercury, the Moon, Neptune, Pluto, maybe Earth again. I don't know, but they invade the whole solar system, and Doom Guy's got to hop in his own freaking spaceship, and he goes around dogfighting. I don't know, like those hell ships that you got to shoot down as the dragon. So that's where I could see if they want to up the ante again after Dark Ages, do something like that, and after Eternal, because Dark Ages is on such a bigger scale than Eternal, and I said this in the last video. I think it's such a shame that we didn't get to see the Earth invasion with like proper cutscenes that we got in Dark Ages. It would have been cool. But I don't really know where you take Doom, except for if you just want to keep going bigger, and maybe not. Bigger is not always better when it comes to sequels. But I think you can do that with whatever the sequel to Eternal is. A solar system scale invasion, Doom Guy in his own spaceship. That's really, so I wrote notes for this video. That's really the only thing I wrote down was spaceship and multi-planetary invasion, because I don't know what else you do. If it is making another Doom after this, because I know the recent interviews they asked Marty and Hugo, hey, is this the last Doom game? And they're like, no, we're gonna make more. And I'm adamant, I still think we're gonna get a Doom, like a multiplayer only Doom game. I think that's gonna happen at some point, because Dark Ages didn't get a multiplayer game, and they've talked about the reason why, and he pointed out things like, well, modern multiplayer games have certain expectations about like battle passes and constant support for the game, and yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. So I think that we could get that at some point, and I would love that. Maybe a free to play multiplayer only Doom game. It would be cool. But yeah, maybe something. I know Doom 4, the original Doom 4 was canceled because they called it Call of Doom. People didn't want it, or they knew that people wouldn't like it. But I think you could iterate on that and still make a cool game, because I would have loved to see like the Earth invasion from like the perspective of just normal people, or like Marines, just regular UAC Marines, because we didn't get to see that, and the closest thing you're going to get to that is the cutscenes from the canceled Doom 4 Call of Doom. But I think that could still make for an interesting game. I don't think the next game will be set during the events of Doom Eternal where you play as other people. I think you'll still play as Doomslayer, even though I would love a spin-off where you play as a Marine, just a plain ass dude again. Cuz it does get kind of old, honestly, of like you just playing as like a god basically now. Like the Doomslayer is a god at this point. So, yeah, I mean, really, I don't really have any other ideas besides like he's in a spaceship and there's some kind of massive invasion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. What would you like to see in in the next Doom game? I know it's kind of early. Dark Ages has been out for what, 2.5 weeks, something like that. We're not gonna see it for a while because if Dark Ages is anything to go by, it's gonna be probably 4 or 5 years until we see another game. It's a shame that they can't get him out sooner, but hey, that's modern development for you. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you would like to see in a new Doom game. That's really the only ideas I got for another game if they want to make a bigger scale than the past two games. Do you think Doom should go on ice? Yeah, I personally wouldn't mind if they dig up Quake again, do something with Quake, do something with Hexen, Heretic. I would prefer that. Doom, I think it's gotten 3 modern games. Wolfenstein kind of didn't really get that. Yeah, it got 2 mainline games. It got New Order and New Colossus, but Old Blood and Young Blood were kind of spin-offs. So we didn't get a third like full game of Wolfenstein. So I don't know. I think it could take a break, but I mean until DLC comes out, I guess I'm probably not going to make any more Doom videos for a while. So let me know in the comments what you think. Like and share and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Peace out.